After more than a year of anticipation, Boeing has finally launched the 777X jet. The Dubai Air Show, Emirates has ordered 150 777X at $76 billion.
Aviation doesn't stand still, and when Boeing quietly begins studying a brand new stretched variant of its 707X family, the industry pays attention. This isn't just another paper airplane. This is the 707-10, a twin-engine giant that could become the largest passenger jet of its kind ever built. And after Emirates just dropped a massive order for the 707X family at the Dubai Air Show, Boeing suddenly has the momentum it desperately needs.
Emirates now has a total of 315 Boeing aircraft on order, including our 777Xs.
So what exactly is this aircraft, and why does it matter so much right now? The Emirates deal that changed everything. When Emirates walked onto the stage at the Dubai Air Show, they didn't just place an order, they made a statement. The airline committed to a substantial fleet renewal centered around the Boeing 707X family, reinforcing their position as the largest operator of the 707 in the world. This wasn't a courtesy purchase. Emirates has been flying 707s for decades, and they know exactly what they want. Their fleet strategy revolves around high-capacity, long-range twin-engine aircraft that can efficiently move hundreds of passengers across continents. And now with this latest commitment, Boeing has the customer backing it needs to seriously consider pushing forward with the 707-10, a variant that had been on the back burner for years. Emirates operates one of the most demanding route networks on the planet, connecting Dubai to nearly every major city across 6 continents. They need aircraft that can carry large numbers of passengers over long distances without burning excessive fuel. The 707-10 fits that brief perfectly. It's longer, it holds more people, and it's still a twin-engine design, which means lower operating costs compared to 4-engine jumbos. For Boeing, this order is more than just revenue. It's validation, it's proof that there's real demand for a stretched, ultra-efficient wide body. And it's the kind of signal that can turn internal studies into formal launch programs. Meet the Boeing 707-10, the largest twin-engine giant. So what exactly is the 707-10? Think of it as the 707-9, but stretched even further. The 707-9 is already the longest airliner Boeing has ever built, measuring around 251 feet from nose to tail. The 707-10 would push that even further, likely exceeding 260 feet, making it not just the longest Boeing, but the longest twin-engine passenger jet ever designed. This isn't just about adding a few extra rows of seats. Stretching an aircraft changes everything. The fuselage gets longer, which affects structural loads. The wings need to generate enough lift for the added weight. The landing gear has to support a heavier frame, and the engines, those massive GE9X turbofans, need to provide enough thrust to get this beast off the ground and into the sky. The 707-10 would likely carry somewhere between 400 and 450 passengers in a typical 2-class configuration, potentially more in a high-density layout. That's more than the A350-1000, more than the 787-10, and it puts the aircraft in direct competition with the Airbus A380 in terms of sheer capacity, except with 2 engines instead of 4. And that's the key advantage. 2 engines mean lower fuel burn, lower maintenance costs, and greater operational flexibility. Airlines can fly it to more airports without needing special infrastructure. It's a long-range, high-capacity workhorse designed for the modern era of aviation, where efficiency matters just as much as size. Why Boeing needs this aircraft right now? Boeing is in a tough spot. The 737 MAX crisis damaged the company's reputation. The 787 program has been plagued with production issues and quality control scandals, and the 707X family, which was supposed to be the company's flagship success story, has been delayed repeatedly. The 707-9 still hasn't entered service, years behind schedule, and airlines are getting frustrated. But here's the thing, Boeing doesn't have a lot of options right now. Airbus is dominating the wide-body market with the A350 family, and they're steadily chipping away at Boeing's traditional stronghold. The A350-1000 is winning orders from airlines that might have once chosen a 777. The A330neo is competing in the mid-size wide-body space, and while Boeing does have the 787, that program has been a headache for years. The 777X family was supposed to be Boeing's comeback. It was supposed to show the world that Boeing could still build cutting-edge, efficient, and desirable aircraft. But delays have hurt that narrative. Launching the 707-10 could change that. It gives Boeing a flagship product that no competitor can match in size and efficiency. It gives Emirates and other large carriers a reason to stick with Boeing instead of jumping ship to Airbus. And it gives Boeing's commercial aviation division a much-needed win. The company needs momentum, and the 707-10 could provide exactly that. It's a statement that Boeing is still in the game, still innovating, and still capable of building the future of aviation. The 777X family, a decade of development and delays. The 777X program was officially launched back in 2013, with Boeing promising a revolutionary new aircraft that would combine the best of the 777 with cutting-edge technology. The idea was simple. Take the proven 777 platform, make it more efficient, add new composite wings with folding wingtips, install the largest and most powerful commercial jet engines ever built, and create an aircraft that could dominate the long-range high-capacity market for decades. But things didn't go as planned. The 777-9, the first variant of the 777X family, was originally supposed to enter service in 2020. That didn't happen. Then it was pushed to 2021, then 2023, and now the latest estimates suggest it might not enter service until 2025 or later. What went wrong? A combination of things. The GE9X engines, while incredibly powerful and efficient, took longer to develop and certify than expected. The folding wingtip mechanism, a first for commercial aviation, required extensive testing and regulatory approval. Then there were structural issues during testing, quality control problems during production, and broader challenges within Boeing's manufacturing processes. The FAA also tightened its oversight of Boeing after the 737 MAX disasters, which meant more scrutiny and longer certification timelines. And then the pandemic hit, which disrupted supply chains, slowed down production, and reduced airline demand for new aircraft. All of this has left the 777X program in a strange limbo. Airlines are still waiting for their 707-9s, and Boeing is still working to get the aircraft certified and into service. Meanwhile, the 707-10, which was supposed to follow shortly after the 777-9, has been sitting on the sidelines. But now, with renewed customer interest and a major order from Emirates, Boeing has a reason to push forward. Engineering challenges of building the world's longest airliner. Engineering challenges of building the world's longest airliner. Building the world's longest twin-engine airliner is no small feat. When you stretch an aircraft beyond a certain point, you run into all kinds of engineering challenges that don't exist with shorter designs. One of the biggest issues is structural flex. A longer fuselage means more bending and twisting during flight, especially during turbulence or hard landings. Boeing has to ensure that the airframe can handle these stresses without cracking or failing over thousands of flight cycles.
Boeing stock has also been on a decline and is down over 25% so far in 2024.
Then there's the issue of tail strikes. The longer the aircraft, the greater the risk that the tail will scrape the runway during takeoff or landing, especially if the pilots rotate too aggressively. Boeing will likely need to adjust the landing gear configuration, possibly adding additional support or changing the angle of the fuselage during ground operations. Weight distribution is another challenge. Adding length means adding weight, and that weight needs to be balanced correctly to maintain the aircraft's center of gravity. Too much weight in the back, and the aircraft becomes tail-heavy and unstable. Too much in the front, and it's harder to rotate during takeoff. The wings are also critical. The 777X already has the longest wingspan of any Boeing aircraft, and those wings need to generate enough lift to get the heavier 707-10 off the ground. The folding wingtip design helps with this, allowing the wings to be longer without exceeding airport gate limits, but it also adds mechanical complexity. And then there's certification. The FAA and other aviation authorities will scrutinize every aspect of the 707-10's design, from its structural integrity to its aerodynamics to its emergency evacuation procedures. Boeing will need to prove that this aircraft is just as safe and reliable as every other commercial jet in the sky.
That's the standard 777, no?
Well, actually, on the outside it is. But one of the things that Boeing did was to make the seats just a little bit wider.
How the 707-10 compares to its rivals. So how does the 707-10 stack up against the competition? The most obvious rival is the Airbus A350-1000, the largest variant of the A350 family. The A350-1000 is a fantastic aircraft, efficient, quiet, and popular with airlines.
Boeing took a lot of shortcuts in developing this aircraft, and those shortcuts literally bit Boeing in its butt.
But it's smaller than the 707-10. It carries fewer passengers and has a slightly shorter range in most configurations. The 707-10 would offer more capacity, which is exactly what airlines like Emirates need for high-density routes. Then there's the Airbus A380, the giant four-engine super jumbo that was once the pride of Airbus but has since fallen out of favor. The A380 can carry more passengers than the 707-10, but it burns more fuel, requires 4 engines instead of 2, and needs specialized infrastructure at airports. Airbus has already stopped producing the A380 because airlines simply don't want it anymore. The 707-10 offers similar capacity with far better economics. There's also the 707-9, the 707-10's own sibling. The 707-9 is slightly shorter and carries fewer passengers, but it has better range. Some airlines might prefer the 707-9 for ultra-long-haul routes, while others might choose the 707-10 for high-capacity medium to long-haul flights. And then there's the Boeing 787-10, the longest variant of the Dreamliner family. The 787-10 is smaller and more efficient on certain routes, but it doesn't have the capacity or the range of the 707-10. They're different tools for different jobs. The 707-10 would fill a specific niche, high-capacity, long-range twin-engine efficiency. And right now, no other aircraft does that quite as well. The airlines that could buy it and why. So which airlines might actually buy the 707-10? Emirates is the obvious one. They've built their entire business model around high-capacity long-haul flights, and the 707-10 fits that perfectly. They already operate the largest 707 fleet in the world, and adding the 707-10 would be a natural extension of their strategy. Qatar Airways is another strong candidate. They operate a mix of A350s and 777s, and they've expressed interest in the 707X family before. The 707-10 would give them a high-capacity option for routes where the A350-1000 might be slightly too small. Etihad Airways, also based in the Middle East, could be interested for similar reasons. Then there are the Asian carriers. Cathay Pacific, Singapore Airlines, and ANA all operate large long-haul fleets and have historically been strong Boeing customers. They might see value in the 707-10 for high-demand routes between major Asian cities and destinations in Europe, North America, and Australia. British Airways and Lufthansa are possibilities in Europe, though European carriers have generally leaned more toward Airbus in recent years. In North America, carriers like United and American have large 707 fleets, but they've been shifting towards smaller, more flexible wide bodies like the 787. Still, if the economics work out, they might order a few 707-10s for specific high-capacity routes. The key for Boeing is proving that the 707-10 offers better economics than the alternatives and that it can actually deliver the aircraft on time. What this means for the future of wide-body aviation. The 707-10 represents a specific vision of the future: high-capacity, twin-engine efficiency, and long-range flexibility. It's a bet that airlines will still need large aircraft to move hundreds of passengers on busy routes, but that they'll want to do it with 2 engines instead of 4. And that makes sense. The era of the jumbo jet is ending. The 747 is out of production, the A380 is done. Airlines want efficiency, and efficiency means fewer engines, lower fuel burn, and lower maintenance costs. But they still need capacity on certain routes.
The MCAS issue, the control system issue that they had on the MAX before, was in many ways more insidious because it was just a fundamental design flaw.
The 700-710 offers that balance. It's not as massive as an A380, but it's bigger than anything else with 2 engines. It's not as long range as the 707-8, but it's more than enough for most airline needs. And if Boeing can actually deliver it on time and on budget, it could redefine what a wide-body airliner looks like in the 2030s and beyond. Of course, there are risks. The aviation industry is unpredictable. Fuel prices fluctuate, demand shifts, new technologies emerge. But right now, the 707-10 looks like a solid bet. It's the kind of aircraft that could anchor airline fleets for decades, just like the original 707 did. With Emirates backing it, Boeing finally has the customer support it needs to make this aircraft a reality. The 707 isn't just another aircraft, it's Boeing's answer to a changing aviation landscape, a statement that twin-engine efficiency and high capacity can coexist. If Boeing can pull this off, it might just secure its place in the wide-body market for another generation.